And it's dry. And this heat is an extensive one. It's not just a 1 or 2 day or even 3 day heat wave. It's a 5 or 6 or 7 day heat wave for some of you. Medford, Oregon, case in point. We got 5 days of this. 106 today, 113 on Saturday, still 108 as we look ahead to Monday. Temperatures are up. We're Bakersfield. We're now at 95. Look at Redding. We started off in the low 70s this morning. It might have been in the 60s actually to start. Now we're at 92 degrees. Vegas all the way to 98 already. Phoenix is rising as well. Excessive heat warnings are up from Arizona and California. Look at how much of the state, most of the state of California is under some kind of excessive heat warning or heat advisory. That's tremendous, actually. There's a few areas right along the coast that are not, and a few mountain areas really high up, probably above 8,000 or 9,000 feet. Those are the only spots without the heat advisories. This is a big deal heat wave. Numbers today go to 111 in Fresno. The whole valley so hot, but it's not just the valley. It's all the way down almost to the coast. You heard that around the Bay Area here. You go right to the Bay and you'll get some relief. But other than that, the heat is on. Redding, California, 113 would come within a degree of the record. We could break it in Medford by 3 degrees. 106 the forecast. 103 is the record to beat, and it continues tomorrow. Look at Vegas, 114. All the numbers going up. We're going to 118 in Redding. Tomorrow, we may be setting all-time record high temperatures. 123 in Palm Springs, California. That is excessive to say the least. We're talking Death Valley level heat. 123. Yes, a number of spots. The Redding, California one, that may be an all-time record. 114 in Vegas is not, but 117 is the record to beat. So we're coming close to that. And Mount Shasta coming close as well. Again, a spot that you would think you'd be going to cool down. We're going to be above 100 degrees. The heat risk is going to be major to extreme across a lot of the West. You can see extending all the way up into parts of Washington state, but even some extreme showing up in Oregon too. The core of this heat wave is going to be in California, Nevada, and Arizona, but it extends and expands into Oregon and Washington as we get through the weekend. The excessive heat and dry conditions are when landfall happened here in the Windward Islands. Landfall was reported on the island of Carriacou in the Grenadines. Well, actually, just part of Grenada, actually, this island just north of Grenada. Union Island in the Grenadines also hit very hard. You can see how the eye wall actually just stayed right over it. There's St. Vincent, there's St. Lucia. I mean, these were all places that people were impacted on their vacations because of this. And of course, the residents here just absolutely horrendous destruction that has occurred. Winds 150 miles per hour. Pressure was down to 950. It was a Category 4. A lot of superlatives that go with this, including just how quickly it developed. It went from a tropical storm on June 28th, named a hurricane on the 29th, then all the way to landfall as a high-end Cat 4 with 150 miles per hour, and then went on to strengthen to a Cat 5, 160 miles per hour, and stayed at that level for quite a long time. Only 11 other hurricanes have had this level, Cat 4 or higher winds for this long of a time. So elite territory. Passed just to the south of Jamaica with that northern eye wall grazing the southern side of the island. It was the earliest Category 5 on record, breaking the previous record by 2 weeks. The farthest east, a June hurricane has formed in the tropical Atlantic, and the earliest rapid strengthening from TD to major hurricane. The previous record was September the 1st. So by quite a bit did we break that record. Some before and afters. This is on the island of Carriacou, which took the hard hit here in Argyle. You can see all the boats out there in the harbor. These are places where a lot of time people move their boats because they want to get out of harm's way when it comes to hurricanes. It's not often that we get a threat like this kind of storm. And you can see afterwards all the boats moved inland, all the damage littering everywhere. Tremendous damage here in Carriacou as well as on Union Island. And as the storm continues its path. And welcome back to America's Morning Headquarters. The Atlantic Basin has been bubbling with activity. Now the Eastern Pacific is actually finally joining in on the action. We got Tropical Depression 1E that just formed up the southwestern coast of Mexico, and this is actually the latest that we've ever seen something in the Eastern Pacific form for the first storm.
Yeah, finally waking up. Just the other day I was thinking to myself, man, the Eastern Pacific usually is kind of rolling along here with a number of systems, usually outpaces the Atlantic at this time of the year. There had been nothing. Now we've got this thing hanging out there well off the coast, pushing its way off towards the north and the west.
Honestly, we were kind of talking about how slow the Atlantic was to start at first too, right?
That's a good
but then when it got going. And of course, the big story is now Hurricane Beryl moving moving away from Grand Cayman Island as we speak. Let's get right over to Dr. Postel for the very latest on that. Greg, yes, we've seen it go through some weakening, and I just want to put that in quotes because it's still a formidable force. What potential do you think it has getting into Mexico, whether it's Cancun or south or through Cozumel or even just south of there?
A very good chance, and that's going to happen soon. I mean, like later on tonight, early tomorrow morning. So it's going to bring probably hurricane force wind gusts.
Multiple days. California not just dealing with heat, but dangerous wildfires as well. 28,000 people in neighborhoods north of Sacramento have been ordered to evacuate because of the Thompson fire. CBS News correspondent Elise Preston has more from the town of Oroville. Power lines here to reduce that risk of perhaps fires getting sparked here. We're only 7% contained with the Thompson fire. More than 3,500 acres have been burned with this, and it is threatening areas near the Oroville Dam. In fact, here it got so close, maybe affecting some fences in the area, that they did some extra spillover. So hoping that some of the splash from coming over from that would help with that firefight in that adjacent area. So again, watching that and also the smoke from this fire. Yesterday, it was actually moving south and getting down towards Sacramento. Thankfully not thick enough at lowest levels to affect a lot of air quality. But in the coming days, we got to watch to see how this evolves and how the wind flow changes here. Friday, it might be more to the east, maybe getting into some of the more mountain locations. But then by the weekend, settling down to the south again, perhaps affecting us in Sacramento. And if it gets down into the lower levels of the atmosphere, it could be affecting breathing. So heads up for that through the weekend. That's another threat that we are worried about. That's a Thompson fire. No rain in the forecast as we expect. It is the dry season here, and we're looking at the fire season on the whole. We are more than 2.6 million acres burned here, well more than the average here, a lot more than last year at this point. Last year overall was a fairly benign wildfire season overall when you look at the stats and the numbers compared to average and compared to the past couple of years. But after a wet few years in California and the fact that we have lots of grasses and stuff that have grown, Alex, and now drying out in this heat wave, it's a big concern that fires that may spark.
Yeah, it really is. Well, that'll be comfortable, certainly more comfortable than what we'll find over the next several days as you work further inland, where those triple-digit numbers are going to be in place.
It's going to be hard sitting at the fireworks shows tonight because it's going to be so hot in most spots.
Yeah.
I mean, the west, the south. But we do want to give you some tips for fireworks, especially if you're thinking about the backyard fireworks here. Make sure you keep a bucket of water or garden hose nearby. Be safe. I'm really worried about the southeast where the drought has kind of become a flash drought. Not a lot of rain over the past month.
Cloud cover, that's always one of those things that people start to get concerned about when it comes to the fireworks displays. And I think the vast majority of us this July 4th should enjoy a good, mostly cloud-free sky.
I think so. I think it's going to be good.
Yeah.
I think the numbers probably overestimates of the cloud cover. But look, if you live in St. Louis, we have a big event here going on. Showers and thunderstorms will be around, but that doesn't mean it's a rain out. Doesn't mean they can't find a window to do this.
But it is stressful trying to figure out, are you going to have it or not? Should you bother going and dealing with traffic and setting your spot up, all the challenges. Let's go to, let's see, New Orleans. It's the annual Go Forth on the River fireworks display. Dueling barges will shoot off fireworks along the Mississippi River.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
It won't be cool out there, though. Going to be muggy times with those 80s in place there in New Orleans.
Shall we go home to Atlanta? 4th of July block party to Underground Atlanta. Fireworks start at 9. That's a good time to do it, although it's still kind of light at 9.
It's like, true, yeah.
Yeah.
It's civil twilight. That's fine by me. I like things to start early. Let's see. The nation's oldest celebration for July 4th is the Boston Pops.
Yeah.
And that concert starts at 8 p.m. Fireworks at 10:30.
Late start.
That's a late start.
Beautiful evening.
Yeah.
Late
Not
start
bad, though.
Means a late end.
Yeah.
That's right.
It's true.
A lot of tired
Hopefully you don't have an early rise Friday.
Yeah.
Right.